When I first started making drinks, I was just putting together some Minute Maid and the Peach Orchard, remember that? That used to hit that with some tequila, and I thought I was a bartender extraordinaire. I was just being a broke college kid. I found some great books that have helped me to wrap my mind around cocktail culture, the circumstances which helped to create them, cultures and societies that have bonded around them. I want to share some of my favorites with you today, my aspiring bartending friends, and I think you're gonna like this. First and foremost, The History of the World in 6 Glasses by Tom Standage. This book covers the major historical points where these major beverages have come up. He divides it between like wine, beer, coffee, Pepsi. Yeah, Pepsi over Coca-Cola. If you found out the story between Pepsi versus Coca-Cola, you would definitely understand. The Enlightenment, they're saying that these guys were up thinking more deeply about the rights of man because they were in coffee shops, which were also a place to drink. They were having coffee and it was stirring up political thought and political theory. Imagine that. But this book blew my mind because it really concreted that drinks, just as much as food, speaks to the conditions of the world at large, who gets to partake and who gets to take. Fascinating stuff. I probably should have started with this first, Rum, and it's by Frederick H. Smith. This is the tipping point for my curiosity about food and beverage history. I was an undergrad up at Buffalo. They had a class about the history of food. I was like, history of food, huh? But we were required to read Caribbean rum, and this was a fascinating book which highlighted the importance of sugar, end products such as molasses, and the later creation of rum, and how rum had the Americas in a chokehold for the most point. But it also dives deeper into the Caribbean culture. It's, this axis of foreign powers, indigenous peoples, African slaves, and what becomes of that. Rum is a literal history book in a bottle. This is a definite read if you're interested in rum, for sure. Tom Bullock, Cato Alexander, Jasper Crouch. What do all these names have to do with one another? They're Black creators in the space of cocktails. And it's all documented in this book, Black Mixolence by Tamika Hall. I am a fan of this book because there are a lot of cocktails that will be on the internet when I'm looking and researching to try and find what to share with you, but it's not always in one collective space which will let you know, hey, this is the contributions from many Black people and brown people who are in the industry. It gives me further courage to do what I'm doing. It lets me know that as exciting as it would be to be a pioneer, it is also just as steeped in pride to be someone who is continuing traditions that are an amalgamation of all their experiences. This is a great read, so you can see some of the great stuff that bartenders past and present who are of all different touches of melanin are creating. So definitely a big fan of this. Okay, you're like, Fox, I don't want to get into all the history. I want to make drinks tonight. Read this book, The Bar Book, and it's by Jeffrey Morgenthaler. When I tell you, this will give you all the tips and knowledge that help you to further respect the craft. When you see the bartenders on the other side of the bar making your drinks and taking care of dozens of people at a time, it's because of techniques that you might find in here that allow you to know how to set up glassware, mise en place, why ice is important and what types of ice you're using, why certain syrups and cordials and how you apply flavors to different beverages, and it goes down the rabbit hole. But as far as jumping right into it, this is the book that would be like required training wheels. All right, you've gone down the rabbit hole with me some, but I want to talk about Smuggler's Cove by Martin Cate. This is my signed copy. Goes down the trail and story of how we have tiki culture. After World War II, many soldiers who had come back from the war looking to have a drink, but people like Trader Vic and Beachcomber Don over there in the West Coast had created this pseudo-Caribbean / Polynesian hybrid culture. Think about, you see how they have cultures in like Game of Thrones, the Targaryens speak High Valyrian. This is all made up. That's what tiki is. It's made up, but with real world like counterparts. A lot of those characters in Game of Thrones are based off of European nobility. A lot of the drinks and things that come out of tiki is out of a love and respect for the rum cultures of the world, especially those that are coming out of the Caribbean. The Saturn, the Pearl Diver, the Mai Tai. So all of that's in here, plus some of that history. So you can understand. Take a look. The Flavor Matrix by James Briscone. This changed how I approach cocktails. Flavor isn't random, it's chemistry. When we taste, 80% of the flavor you get comes from your olfactory It comes from how you smell. It comes from when you smell it. All those compounds come together and give you the flavor you're looking for. This book gives you a whole process in which you can find what pairs with what and why. And this can then inform you. For instance, I had a mango calpico and I wanted to make a cordial with it. I then saw in this book that one of the herbs that go best with mango is thyme. And I made that and I turned it into a cordial forward daiquiri, so a mango thyme daiquiri. It was genius. But this book is what can help you to unlock, because sometimes we cook in a certain way and stay stuck in that way. Hey, I'm just gonna put salt, pepper, oregano on this thing and that's it. You can go much further than that, way further. And you can apply it to food and cocktails. I can go on and on. Apotheke, Modern Medicine Cocktails by Christopher Tierney and Erica Broad. There's an actual bar, which is the namesake of the book here, Apotheke. They apply an ethos of cocktails as medicine, and that is the origination of all these drinks to begin with. Feeling down? Let's go grab some of that alcohol and add a couple herbs, spices, etc. This here is a book that has a list of their cocktails, as well as herbs and roots and other delights that you can utilize so that you can not only make a beverage, you can make medicine at home. I want to dive into this just to see what they're creating and how they do it, but just to add another angle. Whereas Smuggler's Cove might lean into rum and tiki style drinks, this is going in a different route, just to show you there's different lanes to go in this realm. But I'm gonna make some great drinks from out of here to share with you all.